Good evening and welcome to tonight's Juice Plus event. My name is Renee Porter, and my goal tonight is to share with you how Juice Plus can support you and your family in promoting health and wellness, beginning with one simple change. And who doesn't want an easy button, right? As we begin our journey this evening, think about the one thing that you would like to improve in your overall health this year. For some, it may be wanting more energy just to survive each day, right? We're busy with the job, we've got kids, we've got extracurricular activities, or maybe it's something similar to an elevated blood pressure that you'd like to bring back and to better control. It could be for others, digestive issues, or maybe you're a parent on the call tonight and you just simply want to get more fruits and vegetables into your children's diet. So we're going to go ahead and get started this evening and be thinking about that one reason why you're on the call this evening and see if we can help answer and provide a simple solution to how you can actually become a healthier individual through fruits and vegetables. So let's start with what we know to be true today. And this is data, it's research that you probably see on your social media or in your inbox. Think about just a moment. And as I go through these, raise your hand, use your chat, and just give me a thumbs up. How many people are you familiar with, whether they're in your family or their neighbors, colleagues, maybe people you attend church with that have heart disease or have died of heart disease? Anybody that you're aware of that has cancer or may have passed away from cancer? How about diabetes, obesity in adults, and obesity in children? I would say that all of us, I see everybody's thumbs going up. Of course, it's not something that is, it's an unheard of thing. It's become very prevalent in our society today. Dr. David Katz said that our children are more harmed by poor diet than by exposure to drugs, alcohol, and tobacco combined. That's a shocking statement, I think. So what can we do better? These are things, again, that we talk about on a regular basis. More movement or exercise, making sure that we get plenty of rest, sleeping 7 to 8 hours on average, managing our stress, focusing on eating real food, drinking more water, and using safer products. These are things that we can all control. These are things that we can do to become a healthier individual. Our food quality is decreasing. And what does that really mean? Think about your diet on a regular weekly basis. On average, Americans eat 50% processed foods. And the sad thing about that is those are things that we're calling food, but if you look at the label, there are things that we don't recognize. They're chemicals. There are words that I can't pronounce. And we've become accustomed to eating these processed materials and calling them food. So broccoli could actually lose 50 to 80% of its key nutrients before you purchase it. And I want to pause there for just a moment to kind of spend a little bit of time on that and explain what that means. Our food historically should have been grown and has been grown, and we would never picked anything off the vine until it was perfectly ripe, correct? Well, nowadays, food is being harvested weeks before it reaches its peak ripeness. And why is that important? Is because the most nutritional value that piece of produce will ever get is at its peak ripeness. So if we're picking it and harvesting it, putting in a truck, transporting it thousands of miles away to sit on the shelf at the grocery store, it's not reaching its full peak ripeness. It's never going to have the full nutritional value once it's harvested. And that journey from farm to the grocery store, that produce begins to lose its key nutrients. So that statement at the bottom of your screen is important to keep in mind as we go through the next couple slides. Oxidative stress. So we have environmental toxins in our environment, whether that's pollution, it's in a lot of the things that we use on a daily basis, skincare products, hair care products, cleaning products in our home. These oxidative stress cause aging for us, things that we can see on the outside of our body sometimes when we look in the mirror. But what's it doing at a cellular level? It's doing the same thing. It's attacking our cells. But the good news is that fruits and vegetables have antioxidants. So if we're eating more fruits and vegetables, then we're able to combat that oxidative stress. So how many fruits and vegetables do we need? How many servings of that do we need? Well, for children, we need 7. For adult females, 9 to 11. And for adult males, 13. And that's a lot of fruits and vegetables to get every single day. But why do we need so many? Again, it's because our produce is being picked before the nutrition fully develops. It's transported many miles from the farm to the grocery store. We don't get enough variety of vegetables and produce. So think about your plates of food when you're eating them. If you're looking at them and you see a lot of beige, you're missing out on those colors of the rainbow. It's very important that we not eat broccoli every single day, but that we eat broccoli and other fruits, other vegetables, other produce. So when we look at our plate, we should see colors of greens, yellows, reds, oranges, purples, vibrant colors on our plate. Another important factor is the CDC stated in 2017, 90% of Americans don't eat enough servings. So 7 is the minimum, and that's for a child. Think about how many servings of vegetables did you have today? And the serving size is about the size of your palm. Multivitamins versus whole food. So using your thumbs up in your chat box, how many people have ever taken a multivitamin or may be on a multivitamin? I took a multivitamin for years. I thought what I was doing was the best thing for my body. So I was spending $50 a month on an organic multivitamin for me and $50 a month on an organic multivitamin for my husband, thinking, okay, this is what's going to bridge the gap between what we're eating and what our bodies actually need. And sadly, that's not the case. A multivitamin has only a few isolated nutrients. And although 70% of us as Americans are taking these multivitamins, our bodies are not able to absorb them. They're synthetic. Our bodies don't recognize synthetic. What our bodies recognize is whole food. So what is Juice Plus? Juice Plus is the added nutrition of over 30 fruits and vegetables and berries that we can add into our diet. And remember, we started at the beginning of the program, we were talking about what's that easy button? What can I do that is something simple to get more fruits and vegetables into my diet? Well, here's your answer. It's Juice Plus. Whole foods that are harvested at the peak of ripeness so that the nutrition is at its optimal. That produce is pulverized and put into dried powders into capsules, vegetable capsules at low temperatures to preserve the nutritional value. And then we also offer delicious gummies and chewables in the same form. We also have omegas in addition to our fruits, vegetables, and berries. So while we look at this slide here for just a moment, if you're interested in knowing what's in each of those capsules, this is a wonderful picture that shows you all of those 30 fruits, vegetables, and berries that you'd be consuming in the form of a capsule or a gummy. And I want to pause here for just a moment, and I would like to share my story just very briefly. Everybody has a story. I mentioned that my husband and I were taking organic vitamins for a period of time, thinking that that was the answer. Well, we discovered Juice Plus because a friend loved and cared about me enough that she wanted to show me a better option. And I'm so thankful that she did. So for me, I started taking Juice Plus. I had better digestion. I had a better sense of well-being, and my anxiety, which was at an all-time high, I could see coming down. And boy, was that a life changer for me. For my husband, he had been on blood pressure medication. We've been married 30 years, so he'd been on blood pressure medication probably for almost 20 of those years. Blood pressure was always in the 140s over 80s. And the standard for blood pressure is 130 over 80. Anything over that is considered elevated, and a physician typically will provide a prescription for a medication. And he was faithful and took that medication year after year after year, but his body didn't really change anything. He was taking a medication to keep it stable. 6 weeks after starting his Juice Plus, he went into the physician's office, called me to let me know that the physician had a new nurse and that the nurse had taken his blood pressure, and he knew that it wasn't correct. Excuse me. So he asked the nurse to take it a second time. The nurse took it a second time, and it was still wrong. So when the physician came into the practice, into the exam room, my husband mentioned it to him. And at the end of his visit, the physician agreed to go ahead and take his blood pressure again manually. And when he did, it was almost identical to what the nurse had taken it. So remember, I said his blood pressure was in the 140s over 80s. His blood pressure was 119 over 72. As of today, he has taken that whole pill and he has scored it twice. He takes a fourth of a blood pressure pill, and we are working and hoping that he can hopefully get off that last little bit of his blood pressure medication. So if you want to talk about something that was one simple change that made a world of difference in our family, I would say that that was a big change for us. The next slide that I'd like to share with you is our omegas. How many of us grew up thinking omegas only came from fish? I did. Well, come to find out, our bodies don't make omegas, and neither does fish. Fish was getting omegas because of the algae that it eats. Well, Juice Plus learned about that and decided to go out and find more plant-based omegas, and they did. And so what's really interesting is that now we have this omega that is a broad-based omega. It's not just omega-3, but 3, 5, 6, 7, and 9. So now we have an omega that can help our heart, brain, joints, skin, and eyes. That is, like the rest of the Juice Plus products, 100% plant-based. So Juice Plus is unique. Again, it's not a multivitamin. We just talked about that. It has a food label, not a supplement label. It's made with non-GMO ingredients. It's vegan, kosher, dairy, and gluten-free. It also has a certification. It's NSF certified. And if you don't know what this company is, let me give you just a brief example of what they do. They actually look at the entire product and they verify that what's on the label is exactly what's in the bottle. Nothing more, nothing less. They also indicate and screen it to make sure that there's no heavy metals, toxins, pesticides, herbicides. Everything in there is safe for you and your family to take. And it's also the most researched product. So if you have an Alexis in your home, ask Alexa, what is the most researched whole food nutrition product? And just wait. Her answer will be Juice Plus. And what's really impressive is Juice Plus is not the most researched product in the United States. It is the most researched product in the world. That should blow your socks off. So I'm going to pause here for just a moment, and I'm going to invite my friend Karen to share her story.
Hey, thank you. Okay, first of all, I was giggling at blow your socks off. I love that. And I love Renee and Paul's story. I just get chills every single time I hear it. Anyway, I wanted to share with you that I was not educated enough, or I guess not educated enough. I was kind of raised thinking differently because my mom was a nurse. I was adopted. My mom was a nurse. And my biological mother has allergies and asthma. Now she has COPD and some other stuff too. And so when, of course, I started being symptomatic with allergies and asthma, that's where it came from. And I had the best treatment, but it was treatment. I was getting allergy shots twice a week. I don't know if you guys have ever dealt with allergies or maybe know somebody where they do the shots. It was 20 shots up and down each arm and then 60 up and down my back. And I had that done a few times to see what was I allergic to. And it was everything. The only thing I wasn't allergic to was like pine trees and one other thing. So it was miserable. Allergy shots twice a week, prescription meds. It just was a really tough childhood. And I didn't think that there was anything that could be done because I was always told by doctors that this was genetic and this is the way it's going to be. So, I'm a kid and growing into adulthood, even I ate what I wanted to eat because nobody told me any differently that nutrition could make a difference. So it wasn't until I got pregnant and my friend told me, right, she cared enough about me to tell me, and especially because I was pregnant, and she said, you need to do this, even if it's just during the pregnancy. I didn't really understand nutrition and the link to disease and how I was feeling and that I could actually feel better. So I was 35 at this time. So think about that. I was probably 30 years of just not feeling well. I always was on medication. It just was tough. It was really tough. And during the pregnancy, I had to get off of my allergy and asthma medication because it was prescription. And he said, well, you can take something over the counter. And I said, it's not going to work once you've been on prescription. So I just said, I'm going to suffer through it for the baby. And you feel yourself getting worse, but you don't necessarily feel when you're feeling better. You don't necessarily notice that. So it wasn't until the end of the pregnancy when somebody said something about allergies. And I said, oh my gosh, I haven't had my allergies at all. I haven't had the asthma where I would have to sleep upright because I couldn't breathe. So all of a sudden I thought the only change I had made was adding in Juice Plus. And I thought, my gosh, can imagine that those little capsules can make that much of a difference in my health. Let me make some changes to what I'm doing. And so I kind of did one simple change. Our community grasps onto a thing called one simple change. So changing one thing at a time to make it easier for you, baby steps, because if we said, okay, now you're going to go home tonight, you're going to go through your pantry, you're going to throw out everything that has a lot, you're not going to do it. But if you can say, and what I started with was, I'm going to give up soda. So I gave up soda. And when I was able to do that and not think about it, then I worked on the second, thing. So I'm 17 years of making small little changes. Am I perfect? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. But guess what? It's been over 18 years. It'll be 19 years in May that I got started on Juice Plus, and I haven't been on allergy, asthma medication, anything since. And between the Juice Plus and making all the dietary changes. So that, to me, I wish the doctors back then had said something, because maybe I wouldn't have been eating Pop-Tarts and drinking Dr. Pepper, for breakfast. And maybe I would have made some changes sooner. But I'm so glad that somebody shared Juice Plus with me. And because I can't imagine at 54 where my health would be if I hadn't. So.
Yeah. Thank you, Karen. You want to go ahead and pick up the slideshow? And
I can. Yep. You're going to have to do the slides for me.
Hold on just a second. Share my screen again. All right. You able to see the screen?
Yes.
All right. You let me know. Go ahead.
Yeah. Okay. So this is kind of what I was just talking about. Juice Plus does not cure anything. It's simply fruits and vegetables, but it's the power of fruits and vegetables. There's thousands of research studies out there showing that, fruits and vegetables can help with inflammation and helping with your, strengthen your immune system, and helps with cardiovascular. And so that's all Juice Plus does. It's not meant to replace, fruits and vegetables. You still need to eat fruits and vegetables. It's just meant to help us bridge the gap because we're not eating enough. Okay, next slide. You're going to have to turn them for me. Okay. The research. Did you want to talk about the research, Renee? I know that you're passionate about it too.
I am passionate about the research, and I will say I have worked 30 years in medical administration. So I've worked in physicians' offices, I've worked for medical groups, I've worked at hospitals, and the research for me was one of the things that sold me on it. Every bottle of supplements or multivitamins I had looked at, none of it had research. It had borrowed research, but it didn't have research on its product on human clinical trials. And as you can see, all of these meet that standard, that gold standard method. The other thing I wanted to point out is that I may not be familiar with all of these universities or institutions, but what brought to my attention was that these are not just in the United States. These are throughout the world in many different countries that have performed these gold standard research. And it's just phenomenal to me what we have. What did the research find? The research found that Juice Plus contributes to cardiovascular wellness, that it supports a healthy inflammatory response, quality of life, helps lower cholesterol, positively impacts the gut microbiome and digestive health. How many of you have heard recently all of the conversations on the news and social media about the importance of gut health? It's prevalent. Everybody's talking about it. Well, guess what? Juice Plus is known about it, and the Juice Plus capsules and shakes are actually things that are helping to positively impact your gut health. There's several other things over here. I'll let you read the screen. But one of the most impactful statements from Dr. Richard DuBois says that there's nothing else available any place in the world with or without a prescription that has been clinically proven to do what Juice Plus has been proven to do. And that, to me, was the final seal of approval that I needed to move forward with my order. So again, I shared my story earlier. But a picture is worth 1,000 words, right? So this is my husband and I in 2017. This picture was taken this past summer. What are the differences that you see? I see a highly inflamed individual that's very tired. And over here on the right, I see people that are in much better health. They look happier, they feel happier. And I would say just the look on my face, other than we were standing in the sunlight, so minus the squinting, but the look on my face, the look on my husband's face, I mean, we were just in a much better place. And I would never go back to what we were doing in 2017. I love how we feel today. We feel a lot better. The things that we want to do, we're able to participate in now simply because we've made a simple change.
Do you want me to talk about the Children's Health Study?
Yeah, why don't you go ahead and take it from here, Karen?
Okay, perfect. Okay, so I love that the company doesn't want a parent to make a choice financially. Sometimes parents can only afford to get maybe their child on it. And as a parent, who do we choose? If I could only afford to get one person, I'm going to choose the child. So the company is just wants the entire family on Juice Plus because they want everybody to get that nutrition. And they also want the parents to be the example. We're an example all the time, right? For our kids, good or bad sometimes. Anyway, so kids between the ages of 4 through undergrad and college can actually get Juice Plus for free with a sponsoring adult. So I know that both of my kids have been sponsored and gotten Juice Plus for free for up to 4 years. And that's going to be changing. I think it's in May, where if they sign up, they can be sponsored for free until they are, I think it's 25 or 26 years old. So there's no 4-year deadline on that anymore, which is super exciting. Okay, the complete shakes. This is where I get so excited. I mean, I love the capsules for what it did for my health. It was a catalyst for me to get healthier. It was a catalyst for me to start eating healthier. When you start to see what nutrition can do, you get excited and you start to add in more. Well, the shakes, I had always worked out. I had had personal trainers. And one of the things I always had trouble getting enough of was some protein. And the trainers used to always, suggest these different shakes. And I never felt well. I felt bloated. I felt kind of sick to my stomach. And a lot of times they were suggesting whey shakes. I mean, this is a long time ago. I'm not even sure if there was a plant-based shake back then. So I would eat them. I'm intolerant to dairy, turns out, but I didn't know that. And so I just kept drinking them because they would say, no, you need the protein. It wasn't until about, 18 years ago when I started with Juice Plus that I drank these shakes. And I realized I didn't have to feel bad. And these have no chalky, disgusting aftertaste. They're delicious. They mix well. I don't know if you guys have had protein shakes. Some of them are just not, some of them are just, they do not taste good. They do not mix very well. And look at these ingredients. I don't know if you've been reading this, but they're vegan, non-GMO, they're gluten and dairy free, 13 grams of protein, but they're all whole foods in there. If you look at some of the shakes that are out there, they are whey-based, which causes inflammation. It's the cheapest form of protein that you can get also. But I joke around and I say, imagine your blender and you're going to put broccoli sprouts and radish sprouts and quinoa and pea protein and mushrooms. It doesn't sound very good, but these shakes are amazing. And it comes in Dutch chocolate and French vanilla. And I just love them. And I know Dawn, I'm going to have you share in a couple of slides, Dawn, but Dawn is going to share her passion for these shakes as well and how well she's done with them. And those complete shakes, you don't have to go back. The complete shakes can actually be used as a meal replacement, and they're used in our Shred 10 as well. So I like to say it's probably your healthiest meal of the day. The Juice Plus Perform has been around only for a year. And the reason they came out with this is for people who are working out. I don't want to restrict it to just athletes because it's also for people that maybe are vegan or vegetarian and they're looking for a plant-based form of protein because it is a little bit harder sometimes to get that. So there's a lot of times where I will just mix up a shake and I will just do this powder in water, shake it up and drink it simply just for the protein. But some of the ingredients in here are fantastic if you work out. You don't even have to be an athlete. I work out an hour a day at the gym, but it helps for muscle recovery, muscle growth, bone health, energy. So the ingredients in there are completely different than what the complete shake is. And this is meant for a different reason, for, fueling for performance and for recovery. And what I will do is I actually mix them both. So my favorite shake is the vanilla, and I will put half a banana in there, some of the frozen berries, a little bit of pineapple, a scoop of the vanilla protein powder, and a scoop of the Perform. And it is amazing. And I just love all the nutrition that I'm getting when I do that. Okay, so like I said before, Juice Plus is not meant to replace fruits and vegetables. I sometimes get people that come up and they make a joke saying, so I don't need to eat fruits and vegetables. No, you need to still eat as many as you can. Juice Plus really is kind of just it's just like when you get into a car, your seat belt, it's your insurance package. So it's helping you to bridge the gap between what you're eating every day and what we should be eating every day. All right, so jumpstarting your health. I mentioned that too, that Juice Plus became a catalyst. It becomes a catalyst for a lot of people where they think, okay, I'm going to do this. And then they make other changes. One of the things I mentioned is the Shred 10. We're actually on, what is today, day 2 of the Shred 10. And it's really a clean eating lifestyle program that's helping to detox your body. You eliminate some of the fun foods like the, dairy and alcohol and sugar, and you're bringing in eating more whole foods, sleeping, drinking enough water. There's 10 different things that we focus on. And by the end of day 10, you feel so good that you realize, oh my gosh, I don't think I want to go back to eating like that again. And it's not to say that you don't eat, I don't eat brownies or I don't have wine, but you don't do it every single day anymore, because then once you've cleansed your body from that, you feel the difference. And then we have other resources to help you too. Our community and the company is awesome. We have cookbooks. We actually have fitness videos. There's so many different things that we offer. We have a Facebook group. If anybody on here is not in our Facebook group, right now, that's where we're actually doing the shred. We also do other monthly inspirations. Like sometimes we do Go Green and sometimes we do Active in April. So there's a lot of different fun things we do to help keep you motivated and accountable, because I don't know if you're like me, if I am just left to my own devices, I'm going to go start eating brownies again for breakfast. So this community definitely helps to keep me, on track. Okay, the Tower Garden. So if you like to eat a lot of mainly vegetables, some fruits, a lot of herbs, the Tower Garden, if you want to grow your own, is fantastic. There's 2 different kinds of Tower Gardens. I'm not going to go into a lot of detail. If you're interested, reach out to the person that invited you onto this. But the Tower Garden Home, the Tower Garden Flex, both of them can be used indoors or outdoors. You see the pictures, they can grow all kinds of greens, herbs. The taste of the produce, when you start to eat the lettuce and the herbs off of these, you realize how watery and how tasteless the produce is at the grocery store. And you save, this is like growing your own money. So it's definitely an investment the first year, but I've had mine for, I don't even know, I want to say it's like 10 years now, and I'm still growing. So once you've paid for it, it's like growing free, free produce for for years and years afterwards. Okay, this is my favorite slide, because sometimes people are used to buying vitamins and they're going to CVS and they're buying buy one, get one free, but you kind of get what you pay for. Renee talked about isolated synthetic vitamins. It's just vitamin C. It's made in a lab. It's not bioavailable for your body. So I love that for only $2.67 per day, you get the nutrition from those 30 different fruits, vegetables, berries, and grains in your body every single day. And it actually works out to be less than that. So if you're on the Children's Health Study, cut that in half. It's like buy one, get one free. So you're getting that, your kids are getting healthy with you. The omegas are $1.08 per day. I love those. I will give you a little tip, since I didn't do the omega slide, is not only do I eat those, but I also use them as a moisturizer on my face as well. And that's fantastic. The shakes, and all of these, I think really I've considered from the beginning a part of my grocery bill. right? Because it's fruits and vegetables. And so let's go circle back to the trio. What I meant to say is, when you go to the grocery store, I just went and bought apples the other day, and I bought a small bag of organic apples, and I think there was 5 or 6 in there, and I think they were $6.99. So if you look at $2.67 to be able to get nutrition from 30 different fruits, vegetables, berries, and grains, and I can go to the grocery store and maybe for $2.67, I can get 1 apple. I can't even get a small bag of carrots. You know what I mean? So think about, try and go to the grocery store and see how many different types of produce you can get for that. And then the shakes, again, healthiest meal of the day. And this is replacing one of your meals. So this is replacing breakfast. This is replacing a snack. I usually will make a pretty big shake in the morning, and then I'll drink half of it after I go to the gym and I come back. And then later in the afternoon, in between lunch and dinner, I always get hungry sometime, usually around 4 p.m., and I will drink another shake. So it's fantastic. Instead of reaching for some of the kids, the Cheez-Its, or instead of reaching for something unhealthy, I'm drinking that shake. And then the Perform, which is for, either extra protein or for after working out. So I love that for less than a cup of Starbucks, you can get nutrition from over 45 different superfoods every single day in your body. Imagine how your body is going to feel when you're fueling it with that kind of nutrition. Okay, I'm going to have Dawn tell her story because she has such a powerful story.
Okay. Well, it's hard to share the story. It's a long story, so I'm just going to make it brief. Many years ago, my daughter, like 2009, I was diagnosed with colon rectal cancer. And I was told after 6 months of, chemo and radiation that it would possibly have been curable. But when we did a recheck scan, it had spread to my lungs, therefore making it now terminal. So, I didn't give up. I fought, however way I could through surgeries, and whoever I could find that would be brave enough to go in and take the masses out of my lungs. It got approved from the University of Miami. I had to fight for these surgeries. My point was, you told me I'm going to die fighting. So ended up getting approved. Did that, continued on with chemo for years to follow. After all of that, sorry, I'm a bit nervous. Post all of that, I ended up, I had one last treatment. I'll call it a last treatment. I didn't know it was going to be, but I ended up going to visit my father in Arizona. It was going to be basically my last trip to see him, so it was basically my goodbye trip. And sorry, we were driving around, Arizona, and we took a trip to Sedona, where we were actually going to do something else, and we made a wrong turn, and we ended up at the base of a base of a mountain with a church in it. It was a chapel of the Holy Grace. It was in a mountain, so we went in there by chance. I call it by chance, but it was definitely, for me, it was God led. I was meant to be there unknowingly. We went in, and it happened to be a healing service. People of all faiths, of all religion, were in this Catholic church. And during that healing service, I knew that I was healed. I knew in my heart somewhere, not necessarily in my brain, but I knew I was healed. But I still went back and did what the doctors recommended, and I had done another treatment. And that was a wake-up call. When God speaks to you, you should listen, because I ended up in the hospital for 2 weeks and almost didn't leave. surgeries later, blood transfusions later, my husband trying to make decisions. So he is not a father of three young children, who had to, so went forward, and going forward of years of, obviously I made it, I beat it, all odds. But years of pain, inflammation. I had a colostomy bag that I had reversed because I didn't want to grow up with young children with this bag. It was again against doctors' recommendations. Seems to be a pattern here. I don't like to listen to people. I'll just keep fighting. So post, and I knew one day that it would come to a point where I would have to have a bag put back on, because scar tissue builds upon scar tissue. So I had a lot of health issues because of diet. And I've tried many different supplements to help me through this process to avoid the inevitable. Failure after failure. So it became to the point where I was doing things on my own and incorrectly. This Juice Plus was actually brought up to me probably, I think, about a little over a year ago by a friend. And at this point, I was like, no, whatever, just another, scheme or whatever, very bitter about things. I finally was doing some research again on my own because I was presented with the doctor again that I would have to go back to the bag to stop all of the issues that I was having. And so I was doing the research and about, what was recommended by other people who fought what I have fought, cancer, studies and all of this. Juice Plus happened to come up in a lot of this research that I had done. And it was also brought up in many different, I don't know if I'm allowed to say what researches, but very like cancer societies, very popular children's hospitals that many children have to go to. Am I allowed to say names of places that I've read the research or not? Like St. Jude's was one of them, Cancer Societies of America. So I started to really look into it, and I reached out again to my friend who I knew was involved with it. And I started with the shakes and the capsules. I would put the vegetable capsules and the fruit capsules in the shakes and mix it with either Greek yogurt or I cut out all dairy, cow's milk. I use oat milk, coconut milk, and almond milk and things of that nature in there. And I eat it now every day for breakfast. And that I am good for several hours. And if I do get hungry, a lot of times I'll eat the bars, the granola bars. I also, from the shake powders, I make my own little treats, like little tiny balls of like rice. I put like the Rice Krispie treats type in it, the powder and other ingredients that I like. And they're great as snacks. Since I can't give up chocolate, I'll get either dark chocolate or semi-sweet chocolate chips. I'll mash them up and I'll put it in there. And for me, it's like my candy bar. So it has made a tremendous difference in my health. The last 8 weeks of really strictly doing this, I have not had any complications in my health. I have not had to take any kind of pain management. Everything seems to be cycling the way it should be. I am very passionate about it because I've seen what it has done for me. And I know that it could possibly make a difference for somebody else. And all that I'm doing is getting the fruits and vegetables that I needed in the first place in a way that my body can process it. I can't eat vegetables and fruits like everybody else can because I can't process it. I can't break it down normally due to the multiple procedures that I've had. So I'm sleeping better. I'm more energetic. The anxiety, I wish I I could use a little relief from that, like Renee, but I'm gonna stick to it and see what happens. But I am living proof that if you get what you need nutritionally, that you can start on the right path. And I do the healthy start. You know, my youngest is on it and my college kids are on it. I want to start them when they're young, get them on the right path to getting everything that they need substantially, so they don't have to maybe endure what I've had to battle for years. And like I said, I know it's not a cure-all. I will never tell anybody that it is. It's just allowing me to get what I need 100% nutritional. All I'm doing is taking fruits and vegetables. And I don't know, how else to put it. But I could keep you here all night with my story, but
I love that. One of the things that she had told me, I guess about a week ago, is that this was her first holiday between Thanksgiving and Christmas, I think, right? That she actually felt well and that she could enjoy it in 10, like whatever it is. I'm not good at math, but like 12, 13 years. So that's incredible. Okay, Renee, you want to close us
I just
out?
want to say thank you to Dawn. I know that took a lot of courage to share, and I'm telling you, you're an amazing person. And thank you. And I know God has a specific plan and purpose for you. So thank you for being on this call tonight and sharing that journey. We appreciate you. All right, now I got to remember, I'm trying not to cry, Dawn. So I got to remember how to go back and share the screen again.
There's nothing else to show. You can just close us out and we can ask if there's questions and answers. Oh yeah,
Okay, great.
I'm sorry. There was one more. Yes. Yeah.
Did you want to go ahead and go over that?
I can. Yep. Okay. So we do invite you to join us. I know I always get so thrown off by Dawn's story. I get so wrapped up like I'm watching a movie. So we invite you to join us. And what does that look like? I mean, hopefully after watching this and listening to, and listening to some of the statistics, you eat some more fruits and vegetables. The odds are you're probably not going to make it up to the 9 to 13 that we're supposed to be getting every single day. So we hope that you become a Juice Plus customer, reaching out to the person that invited you to either, that joined tonight, or we're going to be sharing the recording. Or if during this, I know in the beginning, Renee said, think about, who do you know that has heart disease? Who do you know that has cancer? Think about who could you share Juice Plus with and talk to them about whose health could you help that can it be the mom that has kids that are sick all the time, somebody that has diabetes, heart disease, and it could be they don't have to have any disease at all. It could be they're just looking for prevention. There's a lot of us who don't want to get to the point of where we are sick and then we're trying to get better, right? Wouldn't we rather put our money where we're, preventing disease? So becoming a partner, you do get money back on your order, and then sharing with people, sharing with even 3 to 5 other people helps you pay for your product. And then best of all is when you want to join with us and you want to earn an income. So there's a lot of people that really want to share with a lot of people because they're so passionate, just like Renee and Dawn and myself. And then, what does that look like? It could look like, oh my gosh, a car payment. It could look like a mortgage payment. It could be that you want to send your children to a private school and otherwise you couldn't afford that. So everybody's got different goals. Everybody's got different whys. But the Juice Plus products help your health, and the Juice Plus business can help the wealth. So, you just never know who needs another, even $300, $500 every single month. So we would love for you to consider at least becoming a Juice Plus customer and possibly partnering with us. And we do have this month a promotion that if you do sign up for the $52 and you purchase anything, then you get $130 of product for free. So that ends January 31st. You can stop sharing. I don't think we're going to go into the business of it. You're muted.
Thank you for everybody for joining. I hope that this time spent with us has been valuable. I can tell you I've learned quite a bit just in listening to Dawn and Karen's story, and I hope that you walk away with not only just being inspired to live a healthier lifestyle, but if you have any questions, that you reach out to the person who invited you to this call, get with them and allow them to help navigate next steps for you. And Karen, if you want to stop the recording, and then we can actually have